Hi guys, Alice here from Mini Model Wars, and today I have a video for you, technically the second video in the series of how to start Warhammer 40k. This video will be concentrating on getting your building supplies and modelling supplies. The reason I choose this before the playing supplies is because you don't need to be playing the game to be actually in the hobby. That's very important, because obviously the modelling comes before the playing. Some people don't take it for granted, some people don't take it seriously sometimes. They like to get their models on the field ASAP. So this, might not be as important to them. But for people like me, maybe I'd like to sort of take my time with my models. You kind of need to, get the right supplies and stuff. So, the first thing I'll do then is I'll go into the building, because obviously you need to build your models before you paint them. So, you need some pliers. These are some cheap pliers that I got from B&Q, if you live in Britain. Perfect to use, nothing really special needed for that, to be honest. But I also have these, which are GW pliers. I had these for 5 years, so a bit broken, a bit battered, but they're still very usable. They're still very good. I think they cost a bit more though, unfortunately. I will be going into a sort of video right at the end, I think, of things you can save money on throughout the hobby, which is you kind of need that information if you're going to start this hobby, because as I said in the intro video, it's quite an expensive hobby, unfortunately. So obviously then that's quite good. Next then is the glue. There are a range of glues. I don't have the actual Citadel glues with me because, apart from the super glue, but I finished my actual, my thick poly cement, so I'm using Humbrol, very cheap again, well, cheaper than the GW, unfortunately, which is something to consider. And then super glues can be used on fine cast as well as the normal plastics. But some people prefer the poly cement because you don't have to hold it down for as long. Loctite, that's what I use as super glue. I do also have the GW super glue, but again, if you just compare the size, obviously the GW super glue is much smaller than the other super glues, and costing about the same size, costing about the same as much. Also, other things you can do is, this is from Wix. It's a bit messed up at the moment, but it is all-purpose adhesive, which is a big word for glue. Basically, I don't use this often, only for terrain pieces and stuff, because obviously you don't really need it for models. I'd use either super glue or poly cement for your models. Another thing that you don't need for models but might need for terrain and stuff is your simple PVA glue, or project glue as it said there. So basically you don't need that for your modelling, but I just thought I'd stick it in there just to give you all the options. So now you've built your models, you're going to want to paint them. Painting your models is sort of what customises them, what sets them apart from your friends. Maybe you can express yourself a bit more with the painting, because, well, you can make your own colour scheme up and such. And so I'll start with basics then. The brushes. This is a, don't know if you can see that. Hang on, I'll do this side. Detail brush. There is also a fine detail brush. There is a base coat brush. A lot of them. I have pretty much all of them. They do cost, again, quite a lot, unfortunately, because it's GW, and they do sort of take advantage of that they are the main suppliers of this kind of thing in the world, really. So they can take advantage. If you can find a similar product for cheaper, then obviously I'd go for it. And then next thing, obviously, you need to base coat. This paint is basically base coating or priming your model can basically vary. I'd either use your white. This is a spray coat. I don't normally, and this is obviously enamel, which is not the best. If you want to use any kind of paints, then I would use your acrylics, because I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. I just prefer the acrylics. But this is basically a white, just for showing you a white. Quite nice colour, obviously, if you want to make maybe a lighter model. Maybe for Tyranids, if you want to do a certain high fleet, or that kind of thing. And I've got a spray. Some people use sprays. I don't use sprays prime personally, because I find it quicker just to paint it on, because then I have to go outside to spray it, and I prefer just to sit at my desk and do it quickly. That's why I bought this. Again, craft. This is very cheap. Crafter's acrylic from Hobbycraft. Again, if you live in Britain, you know what I'm talking about. I think this was £3.99 for a pot as big as the GW pots, which are about this big, which are £2-ish, £2.50 I think it is. GW also sell these spray paints, but I think they're a tenner, and you're not allowed to buy them unless you're 16 or over, because of some rule about, spray paints can blow stuff up. Simple fact. And then you can also, there are different makes you can buy. This is the GW. Very nice. What GW do brilliantly is that they have here, I'll show you now, they have this thing called layer. It says they layer, can you see that? They also have base coats. I think this is a base there, and on. So, you have that kind of thing. One thing I would also only get with GW is their washes and glazes. Basically, washes, they go into the cracks, they make a sort of shading. This is Agrax Earth Shade. I pretty much use it for everything. And then glazes, a bit different. They're new for 6th edition, I think. This is Bloodletter, and basically they don't go on the cracks, they stay on the tops of things just to make it lovely, and you get a little, a highlight sort of thing with that. Other tools you might need, I forgot about this. You don't 100% need this, but it's sort of for modelling. It's the same as sort of a file for filing down a mould line. I have here the screwdriver. GW, I think it costs a tenner. So again, a bit expensive, but if you're going to be as serious as I am, to be honest with you, about sort of, getting your models brilliant, nice. I take a long time with my models. If you want to get up to good standards, then you might want to customize it a bit. I don't know if you saw that then, but here I have so many paints. I think I'm up to the 50 mark of paints. So I have a couple of these, which are just sort of paint holders, I guess. I have a couple of them, which I use basically, hold my paints, carry it around, take it to the club if I can have a bit of painting time there. So obviously, maybe you want to get them as well. But there are other companies which do paints, such as Minotaur, I think they're called, Minotaur. I've never tried them, unfortunately. The only companies I've tried is Citadel and Humbrol. The reason for this is I used to do Airfix, and so Humbrol obviously is a main. Quality, I'm not sure about the quality, how different they are. I think Badger also have a paint range. I wouldn't be surprised if they're exactly the same quality as GW. Because, acrylic paints, they are pretty much as it says on the tin. You do get different sort of water amounts in them, sort of thing. If you understand, sort of they add more water to make it more watery for different effects, sort of thing. Like with washes, it's just very much watered down paint. So people do different that sort of thing. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Next video will be about getting playing supplies. So please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and battle on.